Nathan Cleary and Reece Walsh. Day and night, oil and water. In an interview the other day, Hollywood Sylvester Stallone said the hardest character to play is yourself. And we get the feeling that's exactly what Nathan Cleary and Reece Walsh are doing. Being themselves. Panthers Cleary, so sophisticated, worldly and cultured, quietly confident, with the calmness of a machine as he pins the opposition deep into the corners and puts them to the count. Nathan Cleary's been practicing his goal kicking since age 3. And the big moments everyone carries on about never seem that big to him. Think those 20 minutes late in the 2023 Grand Final. Yeah, and no one remembers this more vividly than the Broncos.
Cleary scores the try that locks up the Grand Final.
Enter Reece Walsh. Think the Gold Coast glitter strip. Think short shorts and nail polish. And that's just the blokes. Most fullbacks are support runners, but at the Broncos, Walsh is the spearhead. Club's chairman, Carl Morris, and CEO Dave Donaghy were flying from Brisbane to Canberra for the recent second qualifying final, when the guy across the aisle said, "Are you down for the footy?" Turns out he coached Walsh long ago, even before the kid went to that wonderful rugby league nursery, Keebra Park State High. The stranger sitting opposite then said you never knew what he was going to do next, how he just tore around everywhere. So he'd handcuff him when he arrived at the ground and in the game play him at dummy half, so he had a set task. Still plays the same way, and if Cleary's calm, Walsh is the cyclone.
Reece Walsh out to the left-hand side, just cuts Cleary in half.
That's the thing about champion sports people. No two are exactly the same, and sometimes they're complete opposites. Just like Reece Walsh and Nathan Cleary. So 3 o'clock Sunday, marvel at the difference. It's the Broncos and the Panthers, the last stop before the 2025 NRL Grand Final, right here on Fox League.
If that doesn't get the juices flowing, nothing will. Welcome to NRL 360, rugby league from every angle, brought to you by Regain. Joining me again, the great Gordon Tallis.
Hi, Braith.
Dan Ginnane and Dave Riccio. Sold out crowd, Sunday Arvo, record ratings. Could this be the biggest prelim of all time?
Oh, well, I think on Sunday in Brisbane, that game, it's the most I've been asked for tickets in the history, even more than State of Origin.
Wow.
From people just texting, so it's going to be huge. You got Brisbane, it's a grand final replay from 23, it's sold out, so 50, whatever it is, 52,500 people, and they probably could have sold it out twice, so that's how big that game is, and Amy Park's the same.
How big is this game, Dan?
I don't want to overblow it. It might be the game of the century. Think of it. Prelim, Suncorp, daylight.
It could be.
28 degrees, revenge, redemption versus a dynasty. There's nothing more you can add to this game. The personalities. Penrith are now back to their best. There's questions over Brisbane with the reshuffling, but they've been damn good. Reece Walsh. There is nothing more. The only thing missing, Braith, it's not the grand final.
Yeah.
But I think this will break every ratings record there is when it comes to this game. It's, I guess we have hyped this, but with good reason.
Sunday afternoon footy, boys. How good. And semi-finals Sunday afternoon footy. And, you know, the NRL, they've been kicked in the teeth a bit as far as turnaround times into the grand final Friday night compared to Sunday. But this one on Sunday should be an absolute cracker.
You mentioned the grand final in 2023. How much will the ghosts of that grand final be driving the Brisbane Broncos to win this one against the Panthers?
You would think that they've sorted it and dealt with it, but it's how they start. If they lose, I'll say the Ghosts beat them, but if they win, the monkey's off their back.
These are the papers from that day 3 years ago.
Well, they had it won. It was a bit like the Raiders down there the other week, right? So they'd won it, and then they lost it. Yeah. So Are they thinking about it? I'd say no. Do we keep on bringing it up? Absolutely.
Gordy, I'd be disappointed if it still wasn't burning inside them. You don't get these chances too often, as we've seen with the Broncos. They've had to go through so much heartache to get back to this point in time. I would be disappointed if it back at the back of Walsh, Mam, Reynolds' mind.
Do you reckon it's in the back of the head, Braith?
Yes. Yes. Whether they're actually thinking about it or subconsciously it's there. If they beat the Panthers, they walk off and they're extra satisfied. They've
exercised the demons.
It is there, and it will be there for the rest of their lives. You cannot erase the memory of this night. Whether they win or lose, even on the weekend against Penrith, this it could haunt them forever. But a win against Penrith and a win in the GF the week after, it does erase this.
Our colleague James Graham has said for a year they were in mourning all of 2024. Such was the devastation of this loss. And it's hard to argue with that given how far they sunk and then the fact that they've risen this year. I wonder though, you talk about the ghosts of 2023, that game's 2 years ago. The ghosts of Magic Ground this year, because Penrith smashed them. Remember, Penrith were really struggling, but they turned up, marquee game. Yeah. Penrith need an occasion now. They've got to that point. Your Broncos were like this. You need something to rev you up. And Magic Ground, they came out and thumped them. Yeah.
Well, we saw it on Sunday. Penrith surprised me a little bit because they have been flat, they have been dead. They were coming last in round 12. I didn't really know, but the level they played at, I went, wow, they are champions.
Yep.
Right? And now they got to go up there Sunday with a side full of confidence.
I think we all expected them to go to another level at finals time, but not like that first 40 minutes last week. Now, Ben Hunt has no problem being shifted into the middle if that means Ezra Mam can cause some damage against the Panthers.
No, I think we'll be fine, mate. It's you're bringing in Reynolds, who's played 300 games, very experienced, leads us around, does all our kicking. So as a half, I just still want to play my game, just keep the same role, and then when I go into the middle, it's a position that I'm definitely used to. He's an excellent runner of the ball, Ezra. He knows the game really well and could probably be a bit of an X factor for us. Bring some energy off the bench. So if he's on his game, that I think he can come out and really help us in that area.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this Ezra Mam back, and I think he's got so much X factor. He's such a dangerous player, and if he's fit, he should be in the team, and he is. He's coming off the bench now. You've got some doubts over this, Dave. Do you know something that I don't know? No,
there's none of that going on, Braith. I just feel as though, to your point, this guy's a match winner. He's a game breaker. We saw his impact on the grand final only a couple of years ago. If he's fit, why isn't he in the starting team? When we see players picked on the bench as 14s, it's as a role with less minutes. It's to provide impact from the bench. It's a utility role. So there will be a time throughout this match that we're waiting for Ezra to get onto the field.
But he will come on. You think that Ben Hunt will go to 9, wouldn't you?
Well, you would think so, potentially.
Because that's what Dog said last night. It's like he might have spoken.
This is a prelim, Gordy.
Yeah, but what are we waiting for? The advantage is that they've got such an experienced spine. They've got Reece Walsh out the back who's so lethal. They can pick and choose when they use Ezra. They might need to use him early, if they don't get off to a good start or they need points early. They may be able to hold him back and execute him and push him into the game in the second half. It's you don't have a loaded gun like him and not shoot it.
Yes, that's my point. That is my point.
Yeah, but he's going to get shot. He's going to be shot out of a cannon.
I know he's coming onto the field.
My injury or concern.
So it's a hamstring that cost him 6 weeks. Yeah. So he's coming back after 6 weeks out.
Yep.
So there's nothing tentative about that. Like there's nothing
Have you done a hamstring?
I have, and coming off the bench is probably the right thing to do. Because you can monitor it to a degree. Use him only if you have to, but if he wants to be right for the grand final, it is do or die. Yep. They need to win, and it could be at the expense of him doing the injury again or making it worse for grand final day. But this is the big hurdle they got to get through against the best team in the comp.
Yeah, but what if it works, right? What if Brisbane go with their normal plan, which is the starting hooker plays 50 minutes, right? Now, all season or most of the season, Billy Walters has been dynamite coming on for the last half hour. So obviously Ben Hunt goes into that role. 30 minutes of Ezra Mam running at tiring Penrith players on a 28-degree Sunday afternoon. If it works, you imagine that game's 12 all and Ezra Mam comes into the game. That's a weapon.
Yeah. Well, what else would you do though? Just quickly.
I'd start him.
You'd start him.
I think he's that dynamic.
So that's your
if he's
issue.
fit,
Your
right.
issue is more you'd start him more so than put him on the bench.
Why are we holding
Can I
back?
ask, his insurance.
Yes.
Adam Reynolds and they haven't played for 6 weeks.
Great
Hamstrings,
insurance policy.
hamstrings, you never know. So if Adam Reynolds pulls a hamstring, Ben Hunt goes to 7, he comes to 6.
I mean, they're spoiled. They're spoiled as far
it's
as
a
the
luxury.
choices.
You mentioned Adam Reynolds. Can he slot back into this team without upsetting what they have got going on at the moment? Firstly, I'll state I think he can, and I've said that on this show. How do you guys see it?
Well, Braith, I know you're confident about that, and I get it. Like, Adam's a class player. But you have seen an elevation in Reece Walsh's game as a byproduct of the more responsibility and the more touches he's had to play in this climb towards the premiership. And so, therefore, how can that be possible with Renault coming back in? Reynolds he's the conductor. He's the guy.
I think it can be possible. I mean, I don't disagree. He's gone to another level since Adam hasn't been there. There's no denying that. You watch the games, it's there for everyone to see. I just think his experience, his class and his poise and the way that he does play, I think that he'll be fine. And he'll give him the ball at the right times in the right spots on the field.
Well, the Hunt-Reynolds combination hasn't exactly been dynamic in that I think they were 5-5 to start the season when they were together and then Ezra Mam came back. And Reynolds is on a hiding to nothing here because if they win, they're just going to keep on the run and probably Reece Walsh is going to start. But if they get beat, he's probably going to cop some of the blame here if Walsh doesn't get enough ball.
That comes with the jumper, though.
I understand that. But you would think his role, does his role change in that, given what's happened in the last 5 weeks, he's got more responsibility to make sure whenever Reece wants that ball, he gets that
and
ball.
Reece has still got to go looking for it because that's why he's been so good. He's just been on the ball, energetic, both sides of the ruck, swinging left, right, you name it. He's still got to do that. Now, Bulldog, Riccio has started another uproar yet again. It's to do with the Panthers. And
He's had a good year, Bulldog, Riccio.
Oh, mate, he's been outstanding.
He's had a great year.
I think he's Dally M Media one of the years.
He and Chamis neck and neck for Dally and Media.
Is that how high you've got Bulldog?
Oh, no, rookie. Sorry, rookie or club. Sorry, I just got that.
Hang on a sec. He voted on my rookie of the year about 30 years ago. But he has fired the debate up about Ivan Cleary. If he wins 5 straight, is he the greatest coach of all time?
Well, it's a fun debate because there's no answer. You can look at all the... I watched the show and...
Can I have an opinion, Buzz? I mean...
I normally do, Braith. Can my opinion be there is no right answer? Jack Gibson had one of the greatest sides ever assembled at Easts and they had 2 extraordinary years. Parramatta couldn't win a comp and then he got them over the line and once they got going they couldn't stop. Craig Bellamy, 20 years. What do you want? 20 years of consistency? Yeah. That's Craig Bellamy. Wayne Bennett, greatness. Had a fair team, but they all had pretty fair teams. I don't know what the correct answer is.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm with Dan. Hey, Braith, I'm with Dan. I agree.
Oh,
No.
Mate, what do you reckon?
No, hang on a second.
That's the advantage of being in this season. I can ask you the question.
Steve Folks?
Folks, he was great.
The point is the longevity of Craig Bellamy over 20 years, the consistency of that Melbourne Storm machine, and that's nothing to understate what the Penrith Panthers.
It is the greatest achievement of any of those 4. Doesn't mean he's the best coach.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Thank you, Braith.
That's what I wanted to hear.
It is the greatest achievement.
Yes.
No one could win back-to-back comps until the Roosters a few years ago.
Spot on.
And you know something? Can I rightly talk about 4 in a row? And I think it's been adequately celebrated because we all understand. They've won 14 straight finals. Like, could you think about that? That's more than half a season against top 8 teams the whole way.
Yeah, that's huge.
They have won 14 straight with 37 different players. Only 4 players have played all 14. But the turnover, which has been spoken about.
Fair turnover, but fair replacements.
Yeah.
I understand, Gordy, but that's unbelievable.
No, mate, it's
37
unbelievable.
players have been involved.
No one's saying that they're not. I just think it's unfair when they don't play. And you like in basketball, Jordan or LeBron or whatever, they don't play against each other. So So I think it is really hard. And when you go, who's better? Is it Andrew Johns or this? I think it is unfair on the guys that went through in the past, and it's unfair on the guys in the future. Like, I really do.
All right, the Sharks are on the plane to Melbourne, and Nicho Hynes addressed the media from Sydney Airport a short time ago.
We deserve to be here. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. The respect, that's all other people's opinions. Obviously, we probably used that a little bit in that first final with motivation, but at the moment, I just want to get the job done for the team. And if someone disses your family, I think anyone would go out of their way to say something and speak up about it. And the Sharks is my family, and I take things personally when people try and diss my family. And maybe I've just had a little bit enough of it over the last few years with people disrespecting the Sharks. And I'll fight for the Sharks until I stop wearing these jerseys.
Okay. Interesting take there from Nicho Hynes. Very entertaining, I'm finding his press conferences lately. Dissing the family, I wasn't sure where that was heading.
Yeah.
But then we got there eventually. And, okay, I'm still a bit perplexed by it. But what I liked about it was that they did use the disrespect for that final on the weekend, because no one has really, I wouldn't say no one, but majority of people haven't shown them any respect. And I love the fact that they galvanised and used that as motivation to win against the Raiders. I didn't think they would use it this week, because everyone is respecting them now.
They are now.
Everyone now is saying they are genuine title contenders. They're not the favourites, but they have a damn good chance of winning the competition because of how much they have improved. But again, you listen to Nicho, and he still holds things from the past. It's clear. Dissing his family, which his family now I've worked out is the Cronulla Sharks. How do we take this? I don't even know how to respond to it.
I think they are genuinely using the chip on the shoulder in relation to lack of respect, the playing group. And I was interesting. I was listening to Matty Johns talk about how ultimately the Sharks are a bunch of nice guys, right? That's how we've seen the Sharks for so long. Nice bunch of blokes.
Extension of their coach.
Yeah, exactly. Extension of their coach. However, Matty said this: in the past 4 weeks, they've shifted their personality.
Yes.
And they've become the "you don't respect us." We got a chip on our shoulder about that. And you can see it in their game. They're playing with ridiculous resilience on their line. Defensively, it's showing in their football the way they've had to win games with less possession than their opposition in both semis. And I think it's a shift in personality that's helping their cause.
Shift they've needed. They've needed some change.
I agree, mate.
Because they've been so, and we've said it all year, they've been so similar every year.
Whatever.
And they've had similar results because of it, even though they've been so consistent and, have competed at a high level now for a number of years. The shift to that little bit of arrogance.
Don't we just respect, like, the theme? How you saw Penrith and that's that, and they've been reading about a samurai and it's this, and Nathan's our samurai, and you go that we've got a chip on our shoulder, whatever it is, right? And if that's their theme for this final series, and they don't want to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore, and Nicho and all those guys, they do look like a really nice community-based side, but they've got to get a bit of mongrel about them.
Two things. Firstly, I'm pleasantly surprised how much respect they've been given this week. I really thought people are going to come out in the media and say that was Canberra's bubble had burst and Ethan Strange...
Reedy did.
Did he?
Yes, Reedy
Lone
did.
Ranger there. But really, it hasn't been... people have given Cronulla...
You think they can win the comp? You think they can win the comp?
They can certainly beat Melbourne.
Hang on.
You want to... No.
Hang on.
They can beat Melbourne.
No.
Can they win the comp? That's what...
Sure. They can beat Brisbane.
They're one of the last 4 teams. They can win the comp.
Yeah.
Okay.
But can I make this
from the Sharks fan? We expect
I'm not
one
sure,
of 14.
I'm not sure they've been disrespected, or they should be as aggrieved about the disrespect as much as they should.
But Gordy's right.
You get the respect you deserve in our game. Stop talking about it.
Yeah, but Gordy, I think the storyline, every team has a storyline that drives them through a finals campaign. And this is what's pushing them. I think it's working for them. And you can see it in the way they're playing. The fight for each other. Super resilient.
You talk about storylines, and the one that's been around for a long time is their halves, right? And Nicho Hynes, especially him. Now, you're in the lab today, and you think the stability they've had in their spine, Blake Brayley, you name it, Kennedy. The stability that they've had for such a long period of time now has held them in good stead, and is why they are where they are now.
Yeah, ultimately, they've come through the other side to this point in time, and it's taken some pain, no doubt, Braith. But what I was seeing with these numbers is that the Melbourne Storm spine of Pappenhausen, Munster, Hughes and Grant, the best spine in the comp by a country mile, have only played 8 games together as a spine compared to the Sharks 25. And I just wonder, when we get to Friday night, so much respect for the Storm, but under the intensity of a prelim final, just that cohesion, the combination, particularly Jerome, whether that's an advantage to Cronulla.
Yeah. What stands out to me there is, and we spoke about this about a month or so ago, we thought, they've been so consistent, they've had the same team, but they actually hadn't had a hell of a lot of success considering the spine they had.
Yep.
Winning the last 9 out of 10 has significantly changed that. I look at Melbourne, only 7, but their win rate is very high.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's very high. I think the Sharks now are, and I said it last night, their forwards are better, they've got no injuries, they're fit, they're firing, they're playing with aggression. But the most important thing is Brayley.
Absolutely.
But also they're 7 and 6 are not only playing well individually, they're playing well as a combination. And that's what they'll need if they are to win this comp.
And those stats are good, but since round 17, the Melbourne spine hasn't played all together.
No.
So that comes back to my point about cohesion come this Friday night.
Absolutely.
Can I make a point about Cronulla? I think so much of this is on Fanua Blake. In that, I looked at Brayley's stats, right? We worked this out last year. When he runs 5 times in a game, they virtually win all the time, right? 5 times. So you ask the question, why doesn't he run it more often? We've got to have the opportunity to run. Well, what Fanua Blake has done has got them on the front foot. Last year, Brayley ran it 5 times in a game, I think 5 times. The year before, 5. The year before, 6. This year, he's run it 5 times, 11 occasions. Yeah. Because this man is getting him on the front foot. He's bringing forwards like Rudolph into his slipstream.
Well, Rudolph's career best because of him.
Brilliant.
Right? Because of him.
As a 1-2 punch.
And then you've got Hines and Trindle. Yeah. When they're on the front foot, they are damn good. They're creative. You've got the running of Hines.
I agree.
And I think it all comes from Fanua Blake.
It all comes down to, again, can the Sharks spine deliver on the biggest stage of all when they've got the most pressure on them, when we know that Melbourne can. The Dogs are staying staunch despite straight sets finals exit. Is there any regret here from the Bulldogs? We're going there again. Internally. Dave, you obviously you got a good relationship with Cameron Serrano. I'm sure you've spoken to him before and after the weekend. Have they got any regrets, or is it still sort of...
I think there's regrets in relation to going out the back door of the finals. For sure. I mean,
but why?
They can't be disappointed. They can't not be disappointed.
Of course. But I'm not talking about.
You're talking about
any regrets around how the season unfolded, the decisions they made, and where they landed.
Cameron's not going to back away from those decisions, Braith, and we all know that, and we've seen how staunch he is on it. Yep. And I think they would view it as this is all part of the stepping stone towards trying to create success.
But standing by a story or standing by a decision, because we hear that lately, doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
No. Do you think it's the right decision in hindsight? Would you have made the same?
I'll say
if
this.
you're there, would you have made the same decision?
If Lachlan Galvin was available mid-year and you could pick him up, I would pick him up.
I think everyone has agreed with that. I don't think anyone has disagreed with that.
And so therefore, I don't think you can have any regret in that.
No one's questioned the signing of Galvin.
I agree with the belief that they had a charmed draw. It was a false economy in relation to the teams that they had to play early doors.
I said that on here. I got hammered on this show. But yes, you are 100% right. They were first on. It was a false economy on that they were so high up on the ladder. Well, because it's a soft draw.
Well, they played Brisbane a couple of times in that, hadn't they?
They played Brisbane. They got smashed by Brisbane. They beat Canberra.
Yeah, they play the Raiders. Yeah, so they played.
Yeah, but they played all their gun games at the back end of the season. Is the point. I was fascinated by Gus's comments the other night that Galvin had never played 7 in his life, apparently, which makes the decision. Well, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I just wonder if the Bulldogs' attitude has been, we got 3 months, right? Because they brought in Galvin, he debuted round 14. So 3 months. We don't know how this is going to work, but we've got 3 months to get. We'll figure it out, and they never quite did.
Yeah.
So they figured it out with the likes of all the number 13s or number 14s they had in their team, and they worked out how to have everyone play in this system. Yeah. And it seems like they backed themselves. In 3 months, we'll get this right. It'll be some teething problems. Problem was the teething problems never ended.
No.
And I think they still had a successful season. Like, if I'm a Bulldogs fan, I'd be happy, but I just thought that the ending could have been a little bit better.
Yeah. All right, could Matt Burton be pushed out as Dogs try to accommodate for Galvin? Now, we've been told by Gus that Mitch Woods will play halfback, which means Galvin will move to 6, because Gus spoke about that as well, which therefore has 3 centres that go into 2. What are we hearing here?
I don't think he's been pushed out. I think there's a.
He was pushed out of the halves first.
I don't think Mitch Wood starts round 1. I'll put it that way. I think Matt Burton starts in the halves round 1.
And who's halfback?
Well, probably Galvin.
Okay.
Right?
But he's not a halfback?
Well, that's according to Gus. I don't know.
You seem very frustrated.
I'm confused.
By this,
I'm confused.
You seem very frustrated. As a doggies man, you seem very frustrated.
Because people think I'm having a crack at the Bulldogs, but really I'm trying to work out what's going on there. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I think Matt Burton goes to the centres, Braith. So hang on. Let's just stop here.
Yep.
So you think that Galvin is going to start the year as number 7 next year?
I think Mitchell Woods will have to take time unless he plays lights out pre-season.
But don't you think that's fascinating, given the circumstances this year and the comments made by Gus?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I do. However, in the long run, I believe Mitch Woods will be the halfback.
Yeah.
Galvin will be 6. I think Burton's a genuine chance to play centre.
So what happens to Sherry and Crichton?
I think Crichton goes to fullback.
Really?
Why not? He attacks there anyway.
He's the best centre in the game.
Get the ball in his hands more, I say. And we see him attack 20 out anyway.
Yeah.
He's been playing fullback. Tracy goes to centre.
Tracy goes to centre.
20 out, that's how they shift their attack.
Okay.
So,
interesting. Is Burton okay with all this?
and if you think about those rookie halves that will eventually be, Woods and Galvin, you would think they would need a dominant voice from the back in Crichton, who's one of the best leaders in the game, helping steer them around. I think it makes sense.
Can I ask a quick question? All the fullbacks are amazing passers now, all the real successful. You watch how Tedesco has improved. Does Crichton have that in his game?
Oh, that's for the coaches, mate. I don't. I mean, he's a freak.
Yeah.
He's an outstanding talent.
Is there any truth to the Ponga rumours? Because I kind of was thinking about it the last few days, and I thought, well, if Burton's kind of, and this is all speculation, but if Burton's on the outer and they've got to try and fit 3 into 2 and they don't have a fullback, this is the article you wrote. I thought, if they shifted Connor Tracy on and Burton, and the rumours around even going to Perth for Burton, then they could buy Ponga. Is that?
It makes sense, right? You're putting your numbers together and it makes sense. But look, all my inquiries suggest that Ponga's not heading there, and they do have a stockpile of fullbacks, very talented young fullbacks coming through. Yeah, right. And they've got Kate Dykes, Eamon Fitzgibbon they've picked up, David Brighton, very young, talented Queenslander, and they've still got Connor on their books. So there's a fair bit of work to be done at fullback.
I think what's obvious, they have to be different next year. They have decided, rightly or wrongly, that the way they went about it this year, the first half of the season, wasn't going to work. They made that decision. That's why, which was Burton at 6. Obviously, Sexton's been moved on anyway. But obviously what happened in the back half of the season didn't work either. So surely they're going to have a different look about them. And I worry a bit. We're placing a lot of heat on a kid who's never played first grade. Now, he may be Nathan Cleary. I don't know. I know the raps on him are huge, but you've got to be a bit buyer beware with a young player. Dan just waxed lyrical about Adam Fanua-Blake. We go through the 4 remaining teams, and we think about the front rowers in those 4 teams. Yep. Moses Leota, Payne Haas, Big Stefano Utukamanu, and Fanua-Blake. That's missing from the Bulldogs.
Yeah. I think the Bulldogs...
Leo Thompson's on his way.
The Bulldogs are going to be easy top 8, probably top 4 again. They are missing a forward, but geez, they've got some decisions to make. Like we just spoke about them, and where did we land? Nowhere. They've got big decisions in a key position. It's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds. Now, you're talking about Ponga. Holbrook, has he managed to sit down?
He has.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's important because, look, what was garnered out of Justin catching up with Kalen, only time will tell, because that's how Kalen rolls. Like, he sort of beats to his own drum. He's making all the indications that all's rosy. I'll be there.
Next year?
Yeah, next year. He's starting pre-season training. He was at training when Justin went up to Newcastle last week. But the thing is, guys, we just don't know with Kalen.
Will the Knights
We just
fight to
don't
keep
know.
him if he goes, look, I want to look elsewhere? Or will they go?
Gordy, if you've got a player that doesn't want to be there, do you fight to keep him? If it came to push came to shove, that Kalen said, I'm looking elsewhere, and at his salary, I think you'd move him on.
All right, reports Tommy Turbo could be Super League bound over a contract. Is it a stoush or a contract disagreement? What's happening
It's a
here?
stalemate.
Oh, is it a stalemate?
It's a stalemate.
What's happening? Can you talk us through it?
Oh, well, look, a formal offer was put forward to Tom Trbojevic and his management, of which wasn't formally ratified by the Manly board, of which then a counter-offer was put forward at $300,000 less that the board were happy with. That has disappointed the Trbojevic camp. In the meantime, the UK Super League have been entertained. Warrington have put forward a 2-year offer, and we're at this point in time.
So it wasn't a ratchet clause. It was they lowered the offer.
They lowered the offer. There was an intention to have a ratchet clause included in the contract. It's
Ridiculous.
It's messy.
I mean, Manly are not reliable in this area, given what happened with DCE.
Deja
right?
vu.
So their reputation in this field is not particularly strong. DCE goes on Channel 9 and announces he's leaving. And what does Manly do in response? They call this show and make an offer on this show. They make an offer on television. I mean, is this how you negotiate? Tom Trbojevic. If you think he's injury prone or you think his best is behind him, you don't offer. You allow him to go. You don't make an offer. This is one of your favourite sons. The disrespect that you make him an offer, and then you go to the board and reduce it by $100,000. So does that mean Tony Mestrov is powerless? Essentially, he is a puppet leader. If that is the case, where he can't make a handshake deal because it's got to go through to the board. And if you actually want Tom, if you are genuine about Tom, you pay the $100,000. You know, $100,000 out of 11.5 million, it's less than one. Have I got this right? It's less than 1% of the salary cap. Have I got this right? I typed it into my iPhone calculator and I thought 100,000 is 1% of the cap.
Was maths your strong point at school?
Yeah, you know what? It used to be.
Yeah.
Guys, I think he stays. I see what's unfolding here.
It'll be a PR disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you, boys. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dave. Up next, it's the Legends Agenda with Craig Gower and Rennie Matua. And the cricket is back. Australia travel to New Zealand for a 3-match T20 series, and it all begins Wednesday, October 1 on Fox Cricket. Welcome back. Now it's time for the Legends Agenda with Craig Gower and Rennie Matua. Hello, Legends.
Hey, boys.
Hey, Gordy. You're that good, you got to start again, eh?
Got me back again, mate. I must have done something
No
right.
jacket this week, but you're still looking really fit, mate, so that's good to see. Now, the Sharks take on the Storm this week. Not many people... Well, the Sharks, they're starting to gain some respect. We heard from Nico earlier. Are they a chance of winning the comp this year?
Well, they're in form. They're healthy. They've tightened up their D. Everyone's talking about their halves combination, but look at their 1-2 punch. I heard you talking earlier about Fanua Blake, but Toby Rudolph as well. Once they get on the front foot, Brayley comes into the game, the halves do their job, so I can't see why they can't go all the way.
I was one to obviously think that they couldn't beat Canberra, but having Strange not in there, I think that helped them a lot. But I don't think they can both. I think they're a solid team, and obviously they've got a lot of confidence about them. But I think these other 3 teams have got more fire.
Well, here's their defence. From rounds 1 to 7, they were 15th, conceding 23 points a game. And then from round 18 to now, which is obviously that 9 from 10 wins, they're first, conceding only 14. So this is the reason, right? This is why they've come into calculations now, and this is why people are starting to think that they can. It's going to be hard. Like you said, Gowie, though, when you've got the likes of Penrith, Broncos, and they've got to get through Melbourne, it's a challenge. Nico Hines, he was dominant on the weekend. Great performance by him against the Raiders, and I thought it was a bit of a moment for him, like a big stage, under pressure, and he delivered. And he delivered in spades. How'd you see it, Red?
Well, off the back of his comments during the week, I thought he put a little bit of pressure on himself. But, I think the biggest thing to take out of that game was his defence, right? And when he got to the points on the field, he executed. He set up a couple of tries, he scored a try. But the biggest thing for me is seeing him defend well. So
it's certainly that combination with Trindle is certainly coming to the fore now. So and that was always questioned who was the dominant playmaker. So I think they're finding their balance there, which was good. And when you got Fanua Blake, leading the platform, certainly easy to play off.
Do you think Jerome Hughes is a risk? Melbourne, obviously, they're not carrying Jonah Peasant on the bench, but broken wrist, bad shoulder.
It's a massive risk. Massive risk. Just for the fact that he come back from his shoulder, then broke his wrist, 3 weeks turnaround. I'm sure he's gone through all the tests and so forth, but for me, it's certainly a big risk into a big game.
He's a huge target this week. Whoever the back rower is going up against Jerome Hughes, he's just going to give him nightmares.
Would you be going at him?
I'd be every elbow, knee, hip I could put into him. I would for sure. I think it's a tricky one. I feel for Peasant, and I probably would have went with a smaller bench and put Peasant on the bench with Wishart. I think, if Jerome does go down, you've got like for like in Munster and Wishart. They're both runners, whereas Peasant has proven that he can play well in as a half in a semi-final. Great kicking game. So the choice of not putting Peasant on the bench would have been tricky for Bellamy. Yeah. But it's I would have picked Peasant personally.
Talking about playing well, Nathan Cleary's game against the Dogs. Did we like that? Love it?
Oh, I loved it. It just shows you the way he goes about his business and just the orchestrating his game plan, the game plan that he needs to put in place, his kicking game. I just don't think he always makes the right decision. Like very rarely, it's the wrong decision, and just the way he can execute under pressure, it's unbelievable.
Gowie, you're an ex-premiership winning half for the Panthers. You've done it all, really. How do you rate Cleary amongst the greatest?
I think he's up there, certainly up there. Like you look at what he's done over his career. He's won 4 grand finals. He's been in 5. He's been the forefront of the Penrith dynasty, and then also looking at what he's done in Origin. Yeah, I suppose you look at it and you say he hasn't dominated, but he's won a series. He's played for Australia. Like he's done it all.
Is it the work he puts in? You're close to the club because we don't see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, right? Is it the work that he puts in? Is it his personality?
Well, I think it's his dedication. Talent? It's his dedication to his craft. The amount of work he puts in, like video and kicking. He's always the first one on the training paddock.
Is it different to other halves you've seen? Could you compare him to anyone else?
I don't think so. Just for the fact that the amount of time that he actually puts into his craft is like second to none. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Reynolds coming back for the Broncos, and a lot of people have been talking about it, Rennie, and saying, maybe they... I don't know how, but you couldn't leave him out. But the form of Walsh has been so good that people are worried about the impact of Reynolds coming back, what that would have on him. Are you concerned about it?
Well, 6 weeks out of the game, especially at his age with the hamstring injury, a little bit concerned. The thing for me is with Reno is that he doesn't need to do too much other than orchestrate the team, get him around the park, get the ball to Walsh. The thing I would do, and I think they could put up their sleeve, is use Walsh as a bit of a decoy as well. Have him on the long shift, but look at the short sides as well. I think wouldn't be a bad option for the Broncos this week, is to try and manipulate the Penrith D and get Dylan Edwards to get the numbers wrong and go the other way.
That's a good idea.
There you go. Does he try to play the way Ben Hunt has sort of played the last couple of weeks, or is it hard to change as a halfback? Like when you slot in, Piggy, and you did that, do you try to do what the team wants, or you play your style?
Well, you've got to play what the team is doing. And over the last number of weeks since Adam's been out, they've performed to a high standard. And they've done that by giving Reece Walsh early ball. So for me, Adam Reynolds' kicking game is their biggest thing. If he can control the field position with his kicking game and get that early ball to Hunt and Reece, it's going to hold him in good stead. And obviously they'll be attacking Penrith's left side. Casey and Blaze, they're a little bit scrappy there. So I'm sure there'll be numbers getting flown out.
Ricky and Ginnane staying straight.
Two really aggressive runners. So it's going to be dangerous for him.
Rennie, Gus Gould, he was critical of everyone, really. The media of their criticism of the Bulldogs situation this year, the decision around Galvin, the halves, the nines, you name it. We've watched it, we've talked to it. What was your thoughts on that?
Look, he's the GM and he's there to absorb the media He's there to deflect. He's definitely contradicted himself with his comments over the last 24 hours. Look, at the end of the day, the Dogs are heading in the right direction. They've made some poor decisions this year in positional selections. They are heading in the right direction. You know, as a Dogs player, former player, you know, and as a Dogs fan, you have to ask questions about this year. They definitely did get some things wrong, but I truly, truly do believe they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. Would you have not rushed Galvin into the halves?
You knew my thoughts. I would have put him in reserve grade first and let him earn his jersey into the first grade spot. The comment to say that he's never been a 7 was bizarre to me, to throw the kid in the furnace, especially at a club like Canterbury where the supporters are so vocal and need results. So
you would have thought he would have played halfback in reserve grade first to give him the opportunity to even play halfback. So that was a strange one. And then also, the strange one is all saying that he was better than Bradley Fit. That's just like mind-boggling.
He put a target on him, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that's just added pressure that the kid didn't need. Like, I know he was pumping up his tyres because he was trying to sign him, but it's just when you say those comments, and especially Gus being Gus, that just snowballs.
To me, the side was going like this, and then obviously Marnie, Sexton, and now there's talk of Burton maybe even getting moved on.
I wouldn't say Burton getting moved on. The thing for me with Burto, right, is that I've played with players that if they don't get a carry early and don't get into contact early, they tend to sit back a little bit. So that's why I'm a little bit confused about Burton at 6. If I'm going to play Burton in that side, I'd have him at fullback. That way he has to inject himself into the game. He has to run the ball. He still gets to kick the ball on the 5th.
Well, there's talk of Crichton going to fullback. So you think
Crichton's not fast enough for fullback. I think Crichton is an outstanding centre. I think Burto has a lot more leg speed. I'd keep Critter in the centres, but I think there's an argument to put Burto at fullback.
Critter played fullback for Penrith, and he was found out in that position. So I think that's been already tried.
What about Canberra? It was a tough finish to the year.
Yeah.
Where did it go wrong?
Just not icing that game against the Broncos. They would have got the week off, and then obviously you couldn't foresee Ethan Strange becoming sick and not being able to play. So, they've had a fantastic year, but to go out straight sets like that, they'd certainly be hurting.
I think those demons definitely crept in 20 minutes into that game against the Sharks. Well, they did get that one try, but when Sharks were just, turning up and keeping him out, I think that little bit of that devil on your shoulder starts to creep in and the week before sort of, they come unstuck.
Right, it's time for a break, but stick around, legends. And Friday night, the Ryder Cup begins. Team USA take on Europe, and you can catch all the action following the Storm and Sharks on Channel 503.
The Ryder Cup was back. Golf's great gladiatorial contest. There is nothing quite like the Ryder Cup.
It's dangerous contact. The contact's on report, and because it's a third goal, the penalty's in front.
He'll go himself if he's not careful, Jimmy. One-on-one tackle from Hodges. The Cinderella story has come true for the Penrith Panthers. Cassiano's there with Chambers, and now there may have been a bit of a punch thrown.
We've got to go as well.
Well, Chambers to the sin bin.
Welcome back. Now it's time for Ain't As Good As I Once Was, and all the talk's been around Nathan Cleary. Is he the most complete player? Is he in a league of his own? Comparisons to Andrew Johns, and it got me thinking. Everyone makes comparisons to any good or great young half or new half or the likes of Nathan Cleary to Andrew Johns. So let's talk about him and why he was so good. Now, Gordy, did you play against him in his debut game?
Yeah, Joey. So my first year down in Sydney in 1992, Joey was younger, but he played Jersey flag and the Knights won the competition. So I heard a little bit about Joey there, and this is his debut in 94. And don't forget, with Joey's footage, like a lot of those guys back in the day, there was only Friday night footy and Sunday and Saturday, so you didn't get to watch, all these old guys games, but Joey was a master.
What about the 97 grand final and that moment
The play
against
A little short
Manly?
side play. Yeah. Do you think it's going to go long side? He's played the short side and found Darren Albert to break Manly's heart. So
that's
the thing about Andrew, like he was just the way he read the game. He was like Nathan in that sense, and his kicking game. He just had great vision, and he could always find the great pass. And it was a wonderful player.
Yeah, and then in 2001, the grand final against Parramatta. Parramatta was the best side that year. Right? They were really good. In the first 20 minutes, the plan that they come up with to shock the Eels, Joey was absolutely outstanding. Ben Kennedy, like obviously you got a lot of partners in crime, but Ben Kennedy was absolutely outstanding that day.
What about you, Renton?
Yeah, it was, Joey, he just revolutionised the game, He was ahead of the game, especially in the half position. The halfbacks, the elite halfbacks, the game just slows down for him, and he always seemed to come up with the right play. When he'd hit Ben Kennedy, he'd hit Steve Simpson, he'd chop the tree and then he'd just pull the trigger and just get someone out on the edge.
Oh, he's a freak. I play with him in these games, and I remember, you watch him and he's your hero and you idolise him and you wonder why he's so good, and then you hear him, on all the shows and the larrikin with Matty, and he sits up the back of the bus and he's got a Coke can with bourbon in it, and he's the last one out and all that sort of thing, right? But he's the first one to wake up, and he's the first one on the training paddock, and he works 10 times harder than everyone else. He works on his skills, his drills, his footwork, his passing, and he just lives and breathes the game. He loves playing up that larrikin, kind of tag, but his footy IQ isn't a Gowie. When you play with him, you see it, right?
Yeah, he's very, very serious about his craft, and you've seen that game, BA, when we in game 3. Just the pass options, I think it was 3 try assists he had, and his kicking game, he just dominated from the kick-off.
What a player, both of them, him and Cleary. Now, just before we go, last week, Rennie, we didn't show you 2004 prelim try, and you've been complaining to management. You've been blowing up all week about it. You walked off steam. Here it is.
Look at it.
How many plays did you beat, Rennie?
At least 10. He's about 80 metres out as well. Look at it.
Oh.
Got us into the grand
final. Have you got
final.
this on loop at home? Is this
It's on Instagram.
Do you take people back to your house sometimes and put this on?
Oh, my highlights are on all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't miss that tackle there.
All right, boys. Thank you very much. See you again soon. Enjoy the footy this week. And up next, we give our tips for the Daily M. And following NRL 360, it's The Fan. Welcome back next Wednesday following NRL 360. It's the Daily M Awards live and exclusive to Fox League and Gordy. Who's going to win it this year?
Well, a lot of people are saying Tedesco, but I like the Raiders have had a great year. There's Ethan Strange, Tarpany, the Sharkies. I think there's a few dark horses, and Reece Walsh. He would have polled. He would have polled. Yeah, the last 6 weeks, Reece might have 30 points there.
It'll be interesting. All chasing down James Tedesco.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's it for NRL 360 for tonight. We're on again tomorrow night, special finals edition. Now it's time for The Fan.